My girlfriend's out for the next 5 hours, so I'm going to build a website with over 100 pages of content on it in that time. I'm going to take you along for the whole journey from start to finish and hopefully start ranking in Google and making some serious money. We want to pick a niche. We want to pick a scalable, uh, keyword dense, and low competition. Something with that is very unlikely that someone else would have sort of looked at, or at least scaled up to the extent that we're going to do, because we're talking 100 to 1,000 pages that we can generate in a couple of clicks, really, and so that's our power. What we're not going to be good at is generating the most unique, the most amazing content. So we need to be able to win on volume rather than quality. We still want to try and create high quality, and I'm going to show you how to do that, but it's never going to be quite as good as someone who's spent 5 hours on one article. So find a niche where that's going to be you. So let's go over to our keyword search tool. I use Ubersuggest because I bought a lifetime subscription to this a long time ago, so I'm kind of stuck with it. But it is fine. It's pretty good for what it needs to do. But you can use SEMrush, you can use RFs or Hrefs. You can also just use Keyword Planner on Google if you want to find any information. You also don't have to do keyword research. You can just sit in Google and kind of get an idea of some long tail ideas. But for some of the steps, it's good to have a sort of spreadsheet that we can kind of use and manipulate to generate some of our inputs for later. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the idea that I had for this particular example, which I don't think is going to be necessarily that successful, but it's to do with how much influencers and people on the internet make money-wise, and how they do it. If I could scale that up, I know there are some people who are interested in those kinds of stories as to how they kind of made their first few dollars. What we don't want to do is go after the big celebrities because there's billions of pages around them. What I like to do is find a small influencers, small sites, and then try and dominate those. So what I'm going to do to start with actually is go over to Social Blade. I'm going to look at the top 1,000 YouTubers. Okay, well, they don't let me access that for free, so I'm going to have to. It's getting a bit funny. They've got all sorts of subscriptions, so I'm trying a different website. This is us.youtubers.me, but this is just to see where where the opportunities might be. Now you can see that even after 339, we've still got some quite big names in here like Taylor Swift, Vivo, and Watch Mojo. So we'd probably want to go a lot further. What we really want is individual influencers. So I'm going to keep digging for ideas here. So I found this page, top 1,000 YouTube influencers in the UK. Now you can actually download this list here. Probably I'm going to have to sign up for it. All we actually really need is a list of names. So actually what I can do is I've gone onto the Joe Rogan podcast and I've found all the people who've ever been on the Joe Rogan Experience. Now, it's not in a nice format, so I'm going to have to see if there's a way of scraping this information, so bear with me. Okay, so actually what I wanted to do was scrape a lot of names, but I found the site that I can probably use to just extract them with copy and paste and a bit of AI magic. So if this advert will get out of the way, I'm going to copy all these all the way down like so. Excuse me. Going to go over to Claude. Now I'm just going to copy and paste this list. Give me this list in CSV format. Now, wait for the magic. It's finished doing that, so I had to do it in 3 different ones because there's so many. So let's move my face out of the way. Let's copy that into, let's call it number of appearances. And then let's take out this. I'm just going to clean this all up. I'll pause the camera. Right, so now we've got a list of every single person who's ever appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience and the number of times that they've also appeared. Now, I'm not exactly sure where to go from here, because what I wanted to do was look at questions that any of these people could be asked on, and see if we could generate some content around how they made their start. So let's try that first. Just picked a random person from the list and put them into a keyword search just to see what the kind of traffic was like and what kind of questions come up. So let's look at questions. Oh, fine. Let's just look at this then. Sometimes Uber Suggest is a bit annoying. So you'll see the search difficulty is very, very low. You've got workout routines, all sorts of things. What's their Twitter? Anything like that. So I guess what we really want to do, ideally, we'd have some information about all of this inputted into for every single person. That would take a lot of time, but that would be the most valuable. So for now, we're not going to do that, and we're just going to see how it goes. A bit of a test. We could ask. We could go over to OpenAI and ask them how much money they think. How much money does have? So this is just an example of the kind of content that's going to be generated later. So I want to see what it looks like. This is pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and make this and just see how we go. This is the cheap version of ChatGPT as well. I did like is I asked it to estimate the value of his social media followers, and this is what it kind of broke down. So OpenAI can find this information on the internet. All we're doing is prompting the kind of difference. So break down how you value it, and what assumptions that you have made. Here's your typical engagement, etc. And so what's the estimated value of his particular following? It's that. Therefore, this is how much money he makes from social media. So I'm going to base it all around how much money they make from being an influencer or being on the internet, and see what happens. So in order to do the next step, I've been using createpages.com, which is only launched this week, and that's why I am doing a lot of work on it with it. Here are some of my other companies, or the websites I'm sort of trialing out, but let's go to the settings, because first thing we need to do is change this from a website I was building before to influencermoney.org. Where am I going? Save that there. Go to the API key, reveal, copy, and paste that in here. And then copy and make sure that the site URL is there. Then we're going to go to categories. Eventually this should change. How they make money. Cool. We want to publish as, we'll just move this over here. Publish as posts. Default category, how they made their money. And then we want to hit save. Now, the next part that is a bit more complicated is to build a template. Let me just change the. So let's start with the template name. Let's do how JRE guests made their money. This doesn't really matter because it's not going to show anywhere. Now what we want to do is choose a file. This isn't the updated one, so let me just get that. So we're going to click this JRE list here. It's going to upload, and now we're into the money. So what do we want to call it? Well, actually what we need to do first is do a bit of keyword research to make sure we're ranking and targeting the right thing. So let's find some long tail keywords that work for all of these guests, and then we're going to use that as the title and meta description. However, I'm going to find someone who's been there on a few times, and money, and JRE, and let's see what comes up. I mean, most of them are broadly in the kind of motivational, philosophical, but we want to focus on something that is particular to all of them. So you'll see that literally no one's even looking for this guy. 2006, this is a long time ago. So again, you'll see not much going on, but very low search difficulty. And if we do it 1,000 times, then we're cooking, as the kids say. So let's see if there are any questions here that are useful. How old is he? Okay, how much does he make? So that's probably a good one. How did he make his money, or how much money did he make? I think this one, because how much does this person make, is the best one. Money does X make. So that's going to fill in with whatever name we've got from there. Then we just want to put in a how much. Ever wondered how much money makes a year? Or this person, let's just do has been on JRE times, and this is how much money they make. That's giving us something a bit useful. So this is just all very, very rough. Now, custom prompt, you can change this. I want this to be focused on the story of how much money. In fact, I don't think I need a custom prompt here. Let's just leave that for now. We're in English. There's a whole different opportunity when you talk about changing languages, but that's all good. So now we want to go to content blocks. This is where you're going to build your, essentially each one of these blocks can draw in different information, or can upload upload an image or generate an image from OpenAI. Um, I'm not going to use the OpenAI image, even though that would be a good way to it does help with ranking. The images for the individual people, I just don't see how I'm going to rank for a celebrity with an AI image in this instance. But we're going to use OpenAI content. So, and as I said earlier, like the more variables you have, the better this is going to be. The more actual data you have, the better it's going to be. But if you prompt well, you might be able to make it work. So, the prompt we use here is how much money. Okay, now let's start. Break down career. How much? How did they make their money? How much money did they make? How much money did they make? How much money do they make? How much money do they make from social media? Estimate using all their social handles and break down in more detail. That was getting pretty boring, so I've skipped ahead. This is how I finished. I also said include their CPM roughly, including rough money from brand deals, or I should probably just say money from brand deals. Pull out any useful quotes about money from their appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience, of which there are this many. Explain any career or life philosophies as well. I also went back and started any interesting anecdotal stories, use as a hook, use at, at the start. Okay, so this is a very rough version. We'd normally do, if we had a lot more information to deal with, we'd make maybe an individual prompt, individual content block for each. So if you had actual data about someone's life or a product, for example, you'd do that. But this is just a very rough version so that I can do this nice and quickly. Use this info at start, referencing the time where this information is from. Okay, so cool. This should work. Let's see. So once you've got that, and if you're not doing anything else, like I'm not, I'm just gonna have it. Let's just go hard and just see what happens. I'm gonna go over to generate articles. How Jerry guests made their money. Click this list. I've got 1,094, 1,094. I think the limit might be 999. Maybe not. Okay, so let's generate these. It's now going to pull through from, it's going to pull an API key from OpenAI. I have got $10 in there, so I think that should cover this. I made 100 yesterday for about 50 cents, so less than that, in fact. So I'm not too worried. You'll see it's generating the articles now. So let's just give it a minute. I will pause and come back once it's done. So I'm just looking at this first one, which is Aaron Rodgers. Now it's not perfect, but it gives good detail when he was born. It covers how he first made his money, well, at least his sort of early career, and how he, and an interesting story that is, I say interesting, it's more interesting than just boring the same old AI content that you normally get, although it is exactly that. Financial breakdown, which is really nice. It gives a breakdown of how much he could make off his social media posts, based on the sort of rough CPM. And also it also says like the companies that he endorses, that he works with, which is nice. I'm hoping there are a few more. I hope that's the same the whole way through for those that do have that information. Um, he's appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast twice. Um, and here you go. Here are some key insights as well from that particular episode. And then here are some philosophies. So this is pretty cool. Obviously, we're not going to rank for this particular person, but this will add to the kind of topical authority. Um, Aaron Rodgers will have loads of posts about him. He's one of the most famous quarterbacks of all time. So, my understanding anyway. But this is a good article. So it'll depend on the data and depend on the amount of information out there in the world. But if OpenAI can find it, then it'll put together a pretty good article. You could pay someone, or you could go yourself and put images into all of these articles as well. But with 1,000, that's quite a lot to do. We've got another 30 left, and the cost on OpenAI, if I look at today, let's refresh this. So far, this is what it's cost, because this was yesterday. 57 cents, so it's probably be 60 or 70 cents overall, which is fine. My other kind of side hustles online have made more than that today, so I'm not too concerned. So now it's complete, and the articles are generated. We want to go to WordPress and publish on WordPress. We want to pick publish. We want to post with Gutenberg blocks. Category: how they made their money. Template: we want to is JRE, how JRE podcasts made their money. And I'm going to select all, and then I'm just going to take out take out this one because there's no, no person in the title. I'm going to browse through as well and just see if there's any others like that. But I think we're good. And I'm going to publish on influencermoney.org. And that'll go through publishing them all. Shouldn't take too long. I'll pause once again. So once you've done all that, you have to come over and you'll have to I don't want to do 400 at a time, and I publish them because they'll be in your drafts. I don't know if they're intended to make them automatic, but it's not a massive step. It just means you can add tags and whatever you want here. And if you're grouping them, which would probably be a smart thing to do, you can change the categories of the people you're talking about, which would be, I think, quite a smart thing to do. Yeah. Do a few tags, etc. And then we put my author name, update, and you keep doing that till they're all published. And now you've got a site. I'll come back once I've finished this. So let's see what the site looks like. It's again pretty simple, just a load of very similar systematic programmatic pages. Now, Google might hate this, Google might love this. It's kind of obvious it's run by AI because I've put 1,000 things up in one day. So it'll be interesting to see. I will update this YouTube channel as and when I get a response. So that's how you make a 1,000-page website in a matter of hours. That probably took me about an hour and a half, including all the time to the things chopped together, and waiting for the articles to be generated and publishing them, etc. So, 1,000 pages. If you had all the research done, that's really where the quality is going to come from. That's really what's going to make this take to the next level. I think probably my next move is going to be to try at a much smaller scale, so like 50 articles, but with much more research, with data that is not readily accessible, that I have to go and find and put into that spreadsheet. And that will give things a huge boost, I believe. And that's what I would imagine is going to be the key differentiator between this being a really useful way to make content and this really being a way that you just make a lot of pages that nobody ever sees. But yeah, hope you enjoy. If you do, follow along to see what the outcome is. See you in the next one.